Welcome to Echo Tales. We all know pranks can go wrong, but some don't just go wrong, they shatter foundations. This isn't just a story about a breakup. It's about what happens when laughter becomes a weapon and silence becomes the sharpest, most devastating reply. The last words I ever spoke to Chelsea with any semblance of care or warmth were, "Okay, I understand." There was no shouting, no tearful pleas, no desperate asking why. Just those four quiet words, and then a silence so absolute, so profound, it cleaved through her mocking laughter on the other end of the line. To her, it was a game. It was never meant to be real, at least not in her world. She'd gone out with her friends for their usual girls' night, a ritual of overpriced cocktails, hollow life advice, and a dozen selfies they'd never actually post. I was at home, folding laundry when my phone rang. It was her. I answered, thinking perhaps she was just checking in. Instead, I was met with giggling, a lot of it echoing in my ear. Then her voice, a caricature of seriousness, theatrical and false. "It's over. We're done." More laughter, louder now. Someone in the background, distinct and cruel, actually said, "He's going to cry." That was it. That was the pivotal moment. She didn't know it yet, but everything shifted right then. I didn't ask, "Is this a joke?" Or "How could you?" I didn't question who was there or why she found this amusing. I didn't beg or plead or defend myself, as I might have in past arguments. I simply stated, "Okay, I understand." And I hung up. She called back a few minutes later. I didn't answer. Then again. Then her friend texted me, a playful "Come on, Mariel." It was just a joke faced with tears of joy. "Lighten up." I didn't reply, because while they laughed, I was busy changing every single lock on the house. That night, I moved with a chilling, surgical precision. Sleep was a forgotten luxury. I packed everything that was mine. I canceled her credit cards. I froze the joint account. At 2 a.m., I called a realtor friend and uttered 7 words I never thought I'd say. "How fast can you list a house?" By sunrise, I had wrought more lasting damage with a calm, calculating mind than I ever could have with blind rage. But the real moment, the one etched into memory for everyone involved, unfolded the next morning. Her mother called her a loud, panicked, full-blown, hysterical scream. According to a neighbor who overheard every word through an open window, it went something like this. "The house, Chelsea, the house. What did you just let him do to the house?" That was when the laughter stopped, because suddenly it wasn't a joke anymore. Chelsea thought she could fix everything with a dramatic entrance and a well-practiced pout. I knew her patterns, her well-worn playbook. The first step was always denial, pretending it wasn't serious. The second, guilt-tripping. The third, playing the victim. She'd rehearsed these roles in countless past arguments, treating our life like a stage. But this time, the curtains were already down and the spotlight had shifted. By the time she pulled into the driveway, still in her crumpled party clothes and heels that made her limping more dramatic than necessary, the bright red "For Sale" sign was already staked prominently in the front yard. There was no subtlety. Her name had never been on the deed, only mine. I had moved faster, more decisively, than she ever expected I could. She stormed to the front door, yanked the handle. It didn't budge. The code was changed. Her key was useless. She tried the garage. Same story. When she peered through the front window, her jaw dropped. Half the furniture was gone. Not stolen. Strategically, deliberately moved. The framed photo of our wedding? Vanished. The canvas she'd painted on our first anniversary was still there, but conspicuously crooked, with a stark sticky note across it that read, "Laugh yet?" She stood frozen. Phone pressed her ear. I didn't pick up. She left voicemails. Some angry, some shaky. One where she feigned innocence. "Mariel, come on. You knew it was a joke, right?" Like, it wasn't serious. But I didn't respond. Because for her, it was a joke. For me, it was clarity. While she called and paced the lawn, her mother's car pulled up. I watched from the upstairs window of a nearby Airbnb I'd booked hours earlier. Her mom stepped out of the car in slippers. No makeup, panic etched across her face. She gripped Chelsea's shoulders and said something I couldn't hear. Chelsea collapsed onto the front steps, covering her face. That was the first time I'd seen her cry in public. And I wish I could say it gave me some kind of satisfaction. But all I felt was hollow. Because deep down, I didn't want revenge. I wanted her to treat me like a person. But she made me a punchline. So I rewrote the ending. And what came next would make her wish I had just stayed angry. By Monday morning, she had sobered up, not just from the wine, but from the illusion that she still had any control. I'd anticipated every excuse, every trick, every tear. Chelsea wasn't accustomed to consequences. She was used to cleaning up messes with makeup and charm. But legal contracts? Not her strong suit. That's where I held all the cards. The house was under my name. Always had been. I'd offered to put her on the deed last year. She'd waved it off, saying she didn't care about the paperwork. Said it was our home, no matter whose name was printed. Now, that little oversight had transformed into her official eviction notice. She found the envelope taped to the back gate. Inside, a copy of the property title, the official listing agreement, and a note from my lawyer, short, blunt, airtight. No dramatics, just a reminder that she had zero legal claim. Her mother read it first, the color draining from her face. Chelsea, still trying to act like she had a say in any of this, shouted things like, "You can't sell the house without me, and this is illegal." But I knew better. She never asked questions when things benefited her. She signed joint account permissions, spending cards, even online subscriptions, but never bothered reading the clauses. She laughed when I suggested we needed a prenup. Well, I did one anyway. Her signature was on it, digital, time-stamped, backed up. She'd signed it before we even got engaged, hidden in a series of relationship growth documents I'd shared after therapy. I never hid it. I just didn't call it what it was. Now, it was protecting me like armor. When she finally realized it was real, that I wasn't bluffing, wasn't playing games, she tried calling again. 23 times in one day. I let them all go to voicemail. Each one became more frantic. One started with, "I messed up," and ended with, "Please don't throw it all away." But here's the truth no one tells you. Once someone laughs at your pain in front of an audience, there's no going back. I wasn't throwing it away. I was finally picking me. And soon, she'd realize I hadn't even started yet. Chelsea didn't realize the spotlight could burn until it was on her for once. That weekend, she tried to play damage control, not with me, but with everyone else. I wasn't responding to her messages, so she turned to mutual friends, texting vague things like, "It was a misunderstanding and he's being dramatic." But screenshots have a way of traveling, and I'd already sent a few to the right people, including the audio recording. See, what Chelsea didn't know that night was that my phone had automatically saved our call. I'd set it up years ago after a billing dispute with a client and, honestly, forgot it was still enabled. But there it was, her voice on speaker, telling me it's over, followed by her friends laughing like I was the evening's entertainment. I didn't post it online. I didn't need to. I just sent it to 5 people. One of them was Lana, a friend we'd both known since college. Chelsea had confided in Lana for years, thinking Lana would always take her side. But what Chelsea forgot was that Lana had gone through a humiliating divorce after her husband blindsided her with a prank that turned into real abandonment. It wasn't funny then, and it wasn't funny now. Lana didn't reply to Chelsea's message. She simply forwarded the audio clip to the entire Girls Who Brunch group chat. No caption, no context, just a simple instruction: play this. According to another friend who still talks to me, the group chat exploded. Tanya, the ringleader of that night's cruel joke, tried defending it at first. Something about just wine and laughs. But several of the women, especially those who'd been through real betrayal, didn't see the humor anymore. One by one, they left the chat. By Sunday night, Chelsea wasn't just locked out of the house. She was locked out of the social circle she'd clung to for years. She called me again at midnight. I didn't answer. Then came the text I hadn't expected. "I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but can we talk?" And for a moment, I almost said yes. But then I remembered how it felt to be laughed at while I stood alone, folding her laundry, thinking she was calling to say she missed me. She had the stage then. Now, I had the silence. And I wasn't giving it up yet. I didn't respond to Chelsea's message. Not because I wanted to hurt her. Honestly, hurting her wasn't even my primary goal. I just wanted space, distance, time to finally think without being gaslit into believing I was too sensitive too needy, too boring. But then came the moment I knew she'd truly break. It started with a text from her mom. What did you do with her things? That's when it hit Chelsea. The house wasn't just cleaned out. It was methodically, surgically gutted. I'd removed every single item that was hers. Every dress, every bottle of overpriced skincare, every photo frame where she was smiling like she owned the world. All boxed, labeled, and gone before she ever made it home. But I didn't trash it. I'm not that guy. Instead, I rented a climate-controlled storage unit 15 minutes outside of town, put everything in there, paid for 6 months up front, and changed the passcode to something only I knew. Then I taped a copy of the lease contract inside the mailbox at our house, right beneath a note that simply said, "This is where your memories live now." She found it within the hour. That same day, I got 3 missed calls from her. Then a fourth, a voicemail this time. Her voice was brittle, like glass barely holding its shape. "You didn't have to do all that," she said, her voice cracking. I said I was sorry. "Do you even care anymore?" The truth is, I did care. That's what made it worse. You don't break down like this for someone you never loved. You don't unravel your entire life overnight for someone you didn't believe in. But her apology didn't come in a whisper at home, eye to eye. It came only after her reputation cracked, after her mother panicked, after her friends disappeared. She wasn't sorry she broke me. She was sorry I didn't stay broken. And that realization was the only reason I didn't text her back. I was done building bridges for people who only walked across them to set fire to the other side. She turned me into a joke. Now I was writing the punchline, and it hadn't even landed yet. 3 days passed in silence. Then, on the 4th morning, I got a notification from the storage unit's app. Motion detected. I'd installed a small security camera on the inside wall, pointed toward the door. Not a spy, really just to be sure. She showed up around 7:30 a.m., alone, wearing the hoodie I gave her on our first road trip. The one she used to sleep in, the one she once called her safe place. I watched on my phone as she stood in the doorway, staring at the neat rows of boxes, her own familiar handwriting scrolled across the labels. Books, winter clothes, office, Mariel's gifts. She didn't move for almost 10 minutes. Just stood there, motionless, like she expected it all to vanish if she blinked. Then she spotted the envelope. It wasn't taped to anything dramatic. No glitter bomb, no gotcha moment, just a plain white envelope tucked between 2 clear bins. On the front, I'd written, "If you still think it was funny, don't open this." Of course, she opened it. Inside was a single printout, a photo, a screenshot from my phone. It was the moment she called me. Speakerphone on, friends laughing, her grinning ear to ear. Her friend Tanya had posted a boomerang of the moment, thinking it would disappear in 24 hours. But someone had saved it, sent it to me with the caption, "This is brutal." Skull, skull, skull. Chelsea stared at that image, her own frozen in time, laughing as she told me we were over. I watched her on the camera, jaw tightening, hand trembling. She tried to crumple the photo, but stopped halfway. Her shoulders slumped. She slid down against the metal wall and sat there, knees to her chest. I should have felt victorious, but I didn't. I just felt done. She messaged me that night to argue, not to beg. Just one line, "I didn't know I looked like that." Neither did I. Because when someone shows you who they are in public, you can't unsee it. It's not about mistakes. We all make them. It's about what you choose to laugh at. And she chose me. Chelsea always underestimated silence. She filled rooms with words, made jokes to soften blows, weaponized laughter when things got too real. But silence? That terrified her. It was the one language she never learned to speak. After the storage visit, the messages stopped. For 2 days, not a single word. I thought maybe we were finally done. Not in anger, but in acceptance. But then I got the email in subject line, no greeting, just a shared Spotify playlist link. First, I almost deleted it. But something in me, maybe morbid curiosity, maybe old habits, clicked it open. The title read, "If you still listen to this, you still matter." It was our old playlist, the one we used on long drives, nights we cooked together, or when she worked late and wanted something to keep her grounded. I'd forgotten it existed, but she hadn't. The first song was What Once Was by hers. The second was Holocene by Bon Iver. The third, the one that truly did it, was Half of My Heart by John Mayer. That one gutted me, not because of the lyrics themselves, but because I remember the night we added it. We were sitting in a grocery store parking lot, rain pouring, laughing about nothing. She had her head on my shoulder, eyes closed, and whispered, "I hope I never lose this version of us." But she did, and now all she could do was send me songs she wasn't brave enough to sing out loud. That night, I sat in my half-empty living room, surrounded by echo and quiet. I listened to the whole playlist. I let every track pull me through years of memories, both warm and sharp. Not to forgive her, not even to understand her, just to remember what it felt like to be chosen before I became mere entertainment. Then I did something I hadn't done in years. I opened the Notes app on my phone and wrote one line. "I still listen, but I don't miss you. I miss who I thought you were." I didn't send it, just saved it. And then for the first time, I slept the whole night through. Not because I was over it, but because for once, she didn't get to decide when the story ended. 2 weeks after Chelsea sent that playlist, I got a letter. A real one, handwritten, folded with care. No return address, just my name in her delicate, slanted handwriting I once recognized instantly. Inside was a single page. No long apology, no blame, just this. I wanted to win that night with my friends. I wanted to be the one who had the power. I didn't think you'd leave the stage before the applause. You did, and I finally understand what I cost myself. If there's anything left in your heart, please just know this. I'm not laughing anymore. I hope you are. I sat with that for a long time, not because I needed to forgive her. I'd already done that quietly, sometime between the house sale and the last voicemail I never listened to. Not out of mercy, but because I couldn't carry her weight anymore. My back was tired. My heart was tired. The next morning, I did something I've been avoiding for weeks. I opened the last sealed box labeled Mariel's Things Bedroom. Inside was a small collection of items I didn't realize I'd packed away. A photo strip from our first trip to Nashville, a hotel room key from our anniversary in Monterey, and the old ceramic coffee mug she made me in a pottery class. The one that always leaked from the bottom. I laughed when I saw it. Not bitterly, not with anger, just honestly. A soft, human kind of laugh. Because maybe some things weren't built to hold everything they promised. Maybe some were just meant to exist for a while and be appreciated before they cracked. I put the leaky mug on my shelf. Then I stepped outside. The air was cool, fresh, promising. And for once, I didn't feel like the world was collapsing inward. I wasn't broken. I was rebuilding. And maybe, just maybe, that quiet, honest rebuilding was the real punchline. This story is a stark reminder that some actions, born of a moment's cruelty, can echo through an entire life. What do you think? Have you ever found strength in walking away quietly? Or had to rewrite your own ending when someone else made you a joke? Share your thoughts below. And if this story resonated with you, like, subscribe, and join us again here on Echo Tales, where every whisper leaves a lasting mark.